Hey guys, it's Chris from ZombehGamers here, and I'm bringing you guys a new episode of Alan Wake. I know it's a bit weird considering the last episode I brought out was in like January, but uh, I think if you guys watched my other videos, you know that I said that Bioshock Infinite was my favorite game of all time, and it is an amazing game. But it got to the point where I finished it and I was like, this game is absolutely amazing. And then I go back and look at my other games, play another game, and I found Alan Wake, which was my favorite of all time just before Bioshock Infinite came out. And I have a phase where I'll have a game come out and I'll be like, yes, this game is my favorite game, and then I'll look at Alan Wake and be like, never mind. So that's nothing against Alan Wake, nothing against Bioshock Infinite, which is an amazing game and probably my second favorite, or at least in my top favorite games of all time itself. But Alan Wake's just the one game I can always go back to and be like, yeah, let's play this again because it's my favorite. So I'm bringing forth another episode, which will spawn the rest of Alan Wake. I'll continue it forward till it finishes. I know we say that a lot, but I'll actually be doing it this time considering the game's short enough for me to do that. With Bioshock Infinite, it's actually a little bit longer than I think I'll be able to keep up with a Let's Play for, so that might not stay, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I know Alan Wake will be finished, and I'll be doing American Nightmare alongside it as well, so keep in tune for those. But yeah, episode 3 of, I think it's 3, yeah, episode 3 of Alan Wake. Let's get into it.
Hey! Hey, you!
Phil!
There's been an accident. I need help. Listen,
Deposit.
I need to...
Premium cabins for rent in
Oh, hell.
Carl Stuckey.
Pleased
To meet you. Non-refundable
reservation
deposit required. Fair and square.
And we're back. So obviously you can see that Carl Stuckey, if you guys have played the start of the game or you remember the last videos, he was the guy who ran after you, who was meant to give you your keys for the cabin. He's gone a bit worse for wear. Another manuscript page. Oh, box. Okay. So it's been a while since I've played this, so I can't remember. I don't remember everything. Here's a light. Uh-oh.
I had to figure a way out of this. Any second now, and Stuckey would be knocking on the door with his axe like Nicholson in The Shining.
I love the different references to stuff like that, like the Shining movie with axe in the door, or the Stephen King references at the start of the game. It just makes the game that much better.
Trying. It's the latest.
Yes.
Bright Falls Sheriff Station.
Hello? Hello?
Uh-oh.
One.
This is bad.
So, I think I'm in like a movable cabin. And they took the sense of term movable cabin to a quite literal extreme. So in that bit you can actually stay in the cabin and die. So it's
The bulldozer had gone over the cliff with the office. I hoped Stuckey had suffered the same fate, but I wasn't planning on staying to find out.
so it really pays to pay attention. Because that's not creepy at all. The door opened by itself.
There were more of them. My head pounded with the concussion. I'd never fired a gun outside a shooting range, and now I just killed someone. Or something. There were no bodies. They just disappeared. If I was dreaming, it felt real enough to make me sick.
So yeah, these, you can see when the light goes away, the paint goes away. It's like paint light revealing paint or whatever, it leads to different like little caches.
Eerie hand-painted graffiti was revealed by my flashlight. Someone had hidden a chest of supplies near it.
And flare gun with only 1 ammo, but that'll do. I wonder if it's like 2. Like when it says 0, it still has 1 in the clip, but I don't think it is. We'll just kick this thing in. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things that make this game.
The Dark Forest was the last place I wanted to go, but I had no choice. I had to get to the gas station.
There's a lot of things that make this game sort of my favorite game, even in the eyes of games like BioShock Infinite and stuff like that. I think one of the biggest things was just the fact that I enjoy writing and sort of want to follow that as a profession myself. And when the game came out, on top of that, I built so much hype for the game, and it just with BioShock Infinite, all that hype paid off. It's not one of those games that you build up the hype for and then it's disappointing in the end. Not to mention it sort of mixes a whole bunch of Stephen King-esque aspects, so sort of like the supernatural, yet really, really dark aspects with an actual writer himself. So it's just an amazing game overall, with unbelievable characters, unbelievably believable characters, and a fantastic storyline. Not to mention the gameplay is really, really fun. So mentioning that, I will be doing a lot of coverage on, after I finish doing this, or even while I do this, American Nightmare and the DLCs for this. Obviously the DLCs will come after I finish the game. But American Nightmare probably alongside of
When I
this.
saw the river below, something uncoiled itself inside my head. I realized that I'd have to find a way across. I didn't even want to look at the water.
Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, so the possibilities of me finishing the BioShock Infinite Let's Play isn't that great. Mainly because the game is a 15-hour long game, which isn't that long. But compared to a game like Alan Wake, which I can finish in 8 hours, it's just a little bit longer. Dun, 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 dun. They did a really good job pulling off the voices for
Stucky was still out there, in the dark,
for the
stalking me.
Taken. It sounds pretty creepy, but at the same time, it's like you can obviously hear their own voice in it. Dun, 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 dun. Bam, 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 bam. Caution. Proceed at your own risk. Logging area ahead. Uh-oh. There's more of that paint, so we'll follow that. The creepiest part, like, it's cool to have the, obviously you go if you see the paint, because there'll be extra items and stuff. But there's, like, this heavy breathing. You find out sort of who it's breathing by, as you go along, and all the music sort of slowly disappears. And they'll use that in the game to take advantage of...
Taken. They're taken.
Yep, so that's the name of the guys who are evil. To take advantage of the fact that none of the other boxes in the game really had anything jump out, and they'll use that to scare you. So there's always like a high level of tension, but they don't really jump anything out until later on. So you sort of become relaxed, at the same time as being a little bit tense. And then they just screw you over by scaring you. I'm probably gonna jump down, but oh well. Go this way. I forgot what I even picked up out of that box. I think it might have been batteries. Definitely wasn't fire gun anyway.
The staircase was broken. I had to make my way up some other way.
No. At least I don't have to use stairs. Though I think the method I do use is a lot more, way more drawn out than stairs anyway.
There was no power. There was bound to be a generator somewhere at the logging site.
Gosh, I think oh no, that's right. I was about to say I thought I forgot where to go, but it's all good. Did I get all of them, or just the shield of the other guy? Yeah, that's what the shield. Yep, so you can't, it doesn't have the one clip. You can tell I've been playing Infinite for too long when I went over to try and pick up stuff off of the dead bodies. I think there's a shotgun in here, if I'm correct. Or was a manuscript page. Don't know whether to read the manuscript pages as I go along.
The Taken stood before me. It was impossible to focus on it, as if it stood in a blind spot caused by a brain tumor and eye disease. It was bleeding shadows like ink underwater, like a cloud of blood from a shark bite. I was terrified. I squeezed the flashlight like my life depended on it, willing it to stop coming any closer. Suddenly something gave, and the light seemed to shine brighter.
So yeah, that was the manuscript page from just after when we saw Stucky for the first time, all screwed up and stuff. I'll play this one because it's in between it, but I figure it does let me choose the manuscript page that I've just picked up. So if there's one of these ones with the little symbol, that means I got it in Nightmare mode, which is the harder difficulty. I'll play that if it's in between a manuscript page I've already played, just so you guys can hear it. So if you don't want to hear it, you don't want it to be spoiled, I would suggest just skipping this little part. And that goes the same for the rest of the manuscript pages.
For a long time, the dark presence had been weak, sleeping. Nothing but a half-forgotten nightmare or a shadowy flicker in the corner of an eye in the forest at night. Not real enough to properly exist, and yet too evocative to fade away completely. Now it was waking up. The rider like a fly caught in a spider's web, each jerk and kick vibrating the strands that led deep into its lair. It was aware of him now, and it could use him. All he'd need was a little incentive.
So yeah, the only reason I'm playing them as they come along and not as a group sum is so that it's only things that have just happened or are just about to happen. So, like this one here, Wake Attacked by Birds, it'll happen in just a little bit of time, as opposed to just happening.
I heard them before I saw them, swooping down from the sky and screeching as they came. I spun around just as the cloud was upon me. For an instant, I stared into 100 dead eyes, black pearls glittering in the darkness. I raised the flashlight and the swarm exploded like fireworks. Feathers burned, turned into ash. I couldn't hear my scream above theirs.
So yeah, the manuscript pages on top of the actual storyline and narration is amazing. It just makes the game that much better. I think we don't have to hit the button, but oh no, yeah, yes we do. See, I do lift logs with a crane. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, we basically, they have a bunch of these throughout the game just to sort of add in a different mechanic, and it seems really easy, but there's a part in the game that's just frustrating because the log lift has to be in like a precise spot, otherwise you'll not be able to jump high enough or you'll fall to your death pretty much. Did I get the yeah, I did get the
Well, I was just outside for a breath of fresh air, and what a night. I know most of you are probably in your beds by now, but if you're still up and around, take a moment. Step outside for a spell and breathe in deep. The weather is absolutely still. The sky is crystal clear. It's like...
I won't listen to all of the radio broadcasts because it does take a little while, but they're really nice additions to the game, and plus they're part of the collectibles for the achievements, so you don't actually have to listen to it to get the achievement, but you do have to press play on them. So there's collectibles, there's the manuscript pages, there's the televisions, and then there's the coffee thermoses. The coffee thermoses are the worst of all of them, because there's no way to check how many you've picked up in each
The
episode.
gas station was closer now, its light welcoming in the darkness.
Paul makes the best dogs in the state. Belly Burster is the best with no contest. Monster Dog is second best. The famous dog is...
But yeah, so you'll be, say you found, like I did, 99 of the coffee thermoses. You have to go back and find the rest of them, and it's horrible. But it is possible. I bought the guide for it, which is an amazing guide, by the way. Probably my favorite game guide as well, just because it's written out as a book. So it tells the story as a narrative through the actual game guide, which is something that I have not seen any other game guide do. But then again, the type of game it is sort of warrants that uniqueness. Hey, another manuscript page.
I stepped into the gas station's garage. It was dark and quiet. The place was a mess. It looked like someone trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight. Light spilled into the room through an open door at the back, and I made my way toward it. Without any warning, I was blinded by a bright light. An old portable TV on the shelf had come alive by itself. Impossibly, I could see myself on the screen, talking like a madman.
So yeah, that will be just a little bit into the future of the game. So it gives you these manuscript pages that roughly tell you what's about to happen, but without going into so much detail that it ruins it, which is really, really cool. I don't think I clicked on this one, so I'll just listen to this one.
At first, I kept finding the pages as if by accident. The book I couldn't remember was either a terrible and true prophecy or an act of creation that had rewritten the world. I began to hunt the pages feverishly, for they held the answer to the mystery. With it, I could save myself. With it, I could save Alice.
So yeah, very, very cool. Alright, so we're continuing to the gas station. Little portable health regen thing if I had gotten hurt. Which are very, very handy in nightmare mode. Even after playing 1999 mode and nightmare mode on this, which nightmare mode on this wasn't actually too bad, which was pretty cool. There were bits and pieces that got really difficult, which is the same as 1999 mode on Bioshock. The whole game as a whole on that setting wasn't too hard, but there were parts that were just absolutely horrible to play. I think the hard mode I've played on a game would have to be The Witcher 2. Playing it on dark mode, oh, that was bad. Especially considering the last boss fight you do in the game is a one-hit kill. So yeah, that is sort of one of those ridiculously difficult things. Plus the game on a whole is pretty difficult. Doable but difficult. I try to aim in between them so I can get all of the guys, but it doesn't always work. But I love how it couples as a flare as well. So if you miss someone with the flare gun, they can't come any closer because there's a flare there anyway. No, the manuscript page. And we'll just listen to this one as well.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? She asked. The sheriff looked at me suspiciously. The early morning light flooded through the office windows. I would probably never have gotten out of the woods alive without her help, but I couldn't tell her the truth of what I'd faced the previous night. She'd think I was lying or crazy. She'd lock me up, and she wouldn't help me find Alice.
Alice is lost, and this time it's not Wonderland. Caution. Oops. Employees must wear protective eyewear at all times. And we'll go inside this cabin. Don't need the batteries. Shotgun ammo is always appreciated. And we're gonna watch the first. I think it's the first. Yeah, I haven't clicked on it before. We'll actually click this first. Just to open that gate. We're gonna watch the first TV episode, and I'll end the episode with that. Thanks for watching, guys. Continue to check out my Alan Wake stuff. I'll be doing heaps of it. As I said, it's one of those games I just fall straight back into. So that's why I'd probably, now that I'm not in, taken on by any other games, I'd call it my favorite game of all time. But yeah, here's the episode of, I think it's Night Springs. That's what they call this TV show. It's sort of like a Twilight Zone, and a tribute to Twilight Zone. So yeah, thanks for watching, and have fun watching the TV.
Science. It bestows immortality on those who advance it to elevate all of mankind. Newton, Einstein, Sagan, princes among men. But the price for such a legacy is steep indeed. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a quantum suicide. If our lives are already written, it would take a courageous man to change the script. Having called a press conference, Dr. Barclay Colvin is about to demonstrate that very courage.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am Dr. Barclay Colvin, and I'm glad so many of you could join me here at the Moorcock Institute. Tonight, I'm going to give a practical demonstration of the many worlds interpretation. As you can see, this is a loaded 9mm pistol. It shall be part of a thought experiment. And now, a real experiment, known as a quantum suicide.
Did he say suicide? Is that a real gun? He's kidding, right?
Please, stay calm. There is no risk. Observe what occurs when I place the weapon against my own forehead. Now, you might think this round is merely a dud. Not so. Observe the flower pot. And yet, I myself cannot be harmed with this gun. With each pull of the trigger, two new realities branch off. One in which the weapon didn't fire, and one where it did. With my machine here, I have ensured that this reality is always the former. I have bestowed upon myself quantum immortality. Under no circumstances can this gun kill me.
So wait. What you're saying is that every time you pull the trigger, in another reality, you die?
Yes, of course, but that's completely trivial. There's an infinite number of things that could happen at any moment, and they always do happen somewhere. The point is, this one thing did not happen here.
You're insane, Colvin.
Insane? Insane?
Hey, was this thing supposed to be plugged in? I stumbled on it.
You fools! Gaze upon quantum immortality.
Poor Dr. Colvin, felled by his own hubris or the ignorance of the masses. Perhaps he should have left the crate unopened, the decaying atom unobserved. Curiosity often kills the cat. In Night Springs.
The viewer's eyes were fixated to the screen. In a sense of dread for what was surely to come if they didn't, their hands slowly gravitated to the subscribe button. The rush of adrenaline coursing through their body made them shudder with excitement from the sound of the click that emanated from their mouse. But that wasn't enough. The viewer craved to like the video, an opportunity they couldn't let pass themselves by. Another click, and the screen faded to black.